Hi everyone, this is Will, aka Dr. Financial Literacy, coming to you with part two of the video. Today we're going to move beyond just the income and talk a little bit about the expenses. So as the previous video indicated, I have two biweekly paychecks, $1,694.93, and those two weekly paychecks total $3,389.86 for the month. On average, since starting Velocity Banking in January of 2024, my expenses in California have fundamentally been $3,000. So from my total income take home net pay, my average expenses of $3,000, then I have approximately a cash flow of $389. Now, the debt tool that I was looking at working with this particular time is the Navy Federal credit card that I have a balance of $5,212.45 from the last statement. I had until 6/1/24 to pay that statement off in full or make a payment. I chose not to make a payment of $141.85 because that payment would have gone to $89.95 toward the interest and $51.90 in terms of reducing the balance. And that would have gave me a closing statement balance to carry on into June from May of $5,160.55 if I would have only made the minimum payment of 141.85. So I chose not to make the minimum payment, and instead with Velocity Banking, accelerated banking principles, I made two chunk payments or two payments into the card of my salary, of my income, one at 5/17/24 and another at 5/31/24. So that reduced the closing statement going into next month. So one of the main things of Velocity Banking is reducing the principal of or the balance of what you owe. All right. So within the $3,000 of average expenses, I have three areas in general. My daily expenses, buying gas, eating out, if I do any shopping, any subscription, not subscription, but mainly dining out, eating gas and things of that nature. Not eating gas, but gas. My monthly expenses were those monthly expenses that I pay every month. My car note used to be, I don't have that anymore. My insurance on the automobile, I still pay that. My student loan, I pay that. Now, rent and utilities also. So there's the rent portion and there's the utility portion. With this particular month, I was able to get everything onto the card to bring down the principal. I use convenience checks to put my student loan onto the debt tool until I can pay it off. And I also use convenience check to pay my utilities and rent all in one. So at least for this month, I was able to get all of the majority of my bills onto this particular credit card. So I was able to pay $14.36. Sorry about that. $14.36 and $3.74 onto the card. And the next video I'll talk more about convenience checks, but a convenience check is nothing more than your credit card. Some credit card companies give you a check that you can write against your line of credit or a cash advance or a cash limit that you have. And I used that this particular month to try to get as much as I could on top. The unique thing about Navy Federal is that the cash advance or the convenience checks are the same same interest rate as your as the credit card. So I'll talk a little bit more about that. But the purpose of this video today to recap was to simply just recap. I was able to put $3,389 onto the credit card statement from last month. $3,000 in expenses. I didn't get all the expenses onto this particular credit card, but I'm working to move more and more over. This is considered a debt tool that I'm using. The credit card had a balance of $52,1245. It had a due date of 6/1/24. It had a minimum payment of $141.85, which was broken into just the interest on the card, what I paid in interest, and also what went toward the principal or the balance. So you can see just across multiple cards, if I'm just paying $90 interest on this, when I had multiple credit cards in general, maybe I was paying upwards of $1,000 a month just in interest alone. I'll pare that down using velocity banking. So with this particular credit card, because I put my paycheck in twice, it satisfied the payment of $145.85 in general, which is one of the things that velocity banking advocates talk about. When you put your income in, you satisfy the payment, and I can free up some cash flow. In this case, which I'll go into another video, but this $3,000 will be lower because I've used these two incomes to make it. Now, overall, I should pay much less interest even once I start pulling the expenses out compared to if I would have just made my regular monthly payment of $141.85. Okay, so this was part two, in which I just simply talked about kind of the expenses, how the expenses came out of the Navy Federal account, what tool that I used, which is a cash advance, kind of like convenience check to reduce the debt. All right, so again, thank you very much, and appreciate. Please like it or subscribe, share with others, so that we can try to understand just velocity banking from my perspective, using the income of about less than $3,500 a month. All right, well, thank you very much, and see you on the next side for the next video. Thank you.